From LEGO settling the GOAT debate between Messi and Ronaldo, to Ronaldo's minifigure having a faceplate for his catchphrase. These are 28 things you missed in LEGO World Cup sets. Starting with the World Cup trophy set. It's almost 3,000 pieces and $200, but that's because LEGO had a very specific goal for it. It holds the record for the most gold elements in a single LEGO set. The real trophy is made with 18-karat gold and shines in the light. So LEGO used both drum lacquered gold and molded gold pieces, so the two different finishes make it look like it's glistening. When it's completed, it genuinely looks like it isn't plastic. But don't worry, there are Easter eggs too. Under the base of the build, there's a disc with lots of countries that have won the World Cup over the years. This is already pretty cool, but then people noticed that England just wasn't here. They won in 1966, so why aren't they here? Well, the FIFA World Cup trophy debuted in 1974. Before that, it was the Jules Rimet trophy. England won in 1966 and hasn't won again, so they technically haven't held the FIFA trophy, which is why LEGO didn't include them. This isn't the only detail LEGO stole from real life either. The real World Cup trophy is hollow. It's made with 18-karat gold, so if it wasn't, it'd be super heavy. However, this gave LEGO the perfect chance to sneak in some Easter eggs. There's an entire compartment inside the ball where you'll find a bunch of crazy details. For one, there's a mini soccer pitch that's actually removable, but the number 26 is built into the backdrop out of tiles to represent this year's World Cup. This is actually the logo for this year too, so LEGO didn't come up with it. But obviously, the coolest part is the minifigure. It's exclusive to this set and has one of the best looking head coverings I've ever seen. And even the accessory it's holding is special too. It's a mini replica of the trophy itself, and it's the first time it's ever been seen in LEGO. Just like the minifigure, it's exclusive to this set and will probably be one of the rarest pieces in LEGO once it retires. But this isn't the only Easter egg inside the ball. There are removable panels all over this set, but the ball has two. The bricks behind the second one look completely random, and they are, except for these three at the bottom. They represent the different cards in soccer: yellow for a warning, red for an ejection, and the very rare green card, which is only used in certain leagues. It isn't used in FIFA, so honestly, it doesn't really make sense for it to be here, but I guess that's why it's buried in the set. But let's move on to the soccer ball set, because this one's got a lot more going on than you think. It's based on the size 5 ball that's used in official matches, and the only way LEGO could make it so perfectly round was with Technic pieces. So yeah, it's a little harder to build, but the payoff is crazy, because there's an entire micro soccer stadium inside the ball. LEGO was very specific with the details in this set, even down to the micro figures. They used the exact amount that are allowed to play on the field, and they even gave one of them a different jersey to represent the keeper. But this set isn't just for show. There's a play feature too. There's this little tab right below the stadium, and if you press on it, the stage the micro figures are on and the fireworks behind them move up and down, like they're celebrating the win. However, what happened with the World Cup emblem set sparked an entire debate online, and it has nothing to do with LEGO. Remember earlier when I said that backdrop was the number 26? Well, it's actually 2026, and if you think it looks weird, you're not alone. FIFA's official logo for this year is kind of hard to make out, but you're supposed to read it in columns. It's especially difficult when there's a brick-built trophy in the way, which is why people were so confused with LEGO's set. People also thought the logo said 2206, which is only natural, but no. For some reason, FIFA decided to make the logo weird, so LEGO was just following suit. But there's something about this set most people completely ignore. Obviously, it can be propped up, but this mechanic can turn into a hook to hang it on a wall. LEGO does this in the art theme all the time, and even though this set isn't part of it, obviously it's meant for decoration. But the most popular sets LEGO dropped for the World Cup were the player highlight sets. They made these for Messi, Ronaldo, Mbappe, and Vinny Jr., and they all have very specific things in common with each other. For one, it's the first time any of these guys have gotten an official minifigure. And even better is that LEGO didn't keep them behind a $500 paywall. Each of their sets is only $30, so they're super accessible. But another thing they have in common is that the base is all of the players' first initial. Messi and Mbappe got M, Ronaldo got R, and Vinny Jr. got V. Obviously, they all match their team's colors too, but that's far from the only details in these highlight sets. In Messi's, there's a row of 5 brick-built houses in the back, and each one is a reference to a different club from his career, and they even got ones from his childhood. The orange and blue house is for Abanderado Grandoli FC in Argentina, the first team he ever played for. The red and black house is for Newell's Old Boys. The red and blue is obviously for Barcelona. The navy blue is for Paris, and the black and pink is for Inter Miami, where he plays now. This isn't the only place LEGO referenced these teams though. The base of the set has the flag of every team too. There's also a brick-built goat in the middle, which is super sick. But what about these 8 studs? They seem random, but they actually represent the 8 Ballon d'Ors Messi's won over his career. He holds the record for this award, and this isn't even the only trophy LEGO referenced either. The 3 stars on top represent his 3 World Cups. Remember, this set is only $30, so his minifigure probably made LEGO lose a ton of money. First of all, literally every part is brand new and complicated. The arms and legs are dual molded, the legs have printing, his torso has his jersey, his faceplate is brand new, and he's the only minifigure with this hairpiece in reddish brown. But the craziest part by far is the tattoo sleeve on his right arm. They aren't accurate to the ones he has in real life, since that would be pretty much impossible, but the fact that LEGO even did this at all is pretty surprising. Arms with this much detail are so expensive to make, so it makes sense why LEGO didn't put the sleeve on his leg too. That would just be way too much money. But there's actually something else in common with these sets that I forgot to say earlier. They all come with a tile piece of the player's signature, except for Messi's. Apparently, this isn't his real one. LEGO was able to get the rights to every other player's autograph, but for some reason, they couldn't get Messi's. So they just made a fake signature and kept quiet about it, which is pretty funny. But let's move on to the Ronaldo highlight set, so I can talk about these mountains in the back. Ronaldo was born and raised in a country called Madeira, which is an island off the coast of Portugal and is known for its beautiful mountain ranges. The Central Mountain Range is actually considered a national monument and takes up over 20,000 acres on the island. Ronaldo is very in touch with his home country, so it only makes sense for LEGO to do this. But according to the designer, there are 7 Easter eggs hiding somewhere in this set, and I definitely couldn't find all of them, but I found a few. They're all hiding in the base of the set, so you can't see them once you build the whole thing. You place these 3 tiles right next to each other, which is probably referencing Real Madrid's three-peat in the UEFA Champions League. There are also these 3 different colored bricks with shiny silver studs next to them. And I'm not 100% sure what this means, but Ronaldo wore all 3 of these colors when he played for Real Madrid. And if he won championships in all of them, the studs would probably represent the trophies. But there's no room for doubt with these next 2. Not only did the designer add the Juventus, but he added a brick-built goat with horns like the one Messi got. It's not as crazy as the entire piece they made for Messi, which I'll get to later, but at least the 2 goats of soccer got some form of praise. But then there are the obvious stars for the World Cup wins and the less obvious golden cones, which there are 5 of in the entire set. They look pretty good once the whole thing is built, so they could easily be taken as a design choice. But they actually represent the 5 Ballon d'Ors Ronaldo's won in his career. This is by far the most subtle reference in this set, at least I think. But what about his minifigure? Well, it's just as detailed as Messi's, so clearly LEGO wasn't cutting any corners with these sets. One of his arms has the captain's patch printed on it, and his legs are dual molded with printing on the front and the sides, which we almost never see. LEGO even made sure to get the CR7 logo on his cleats, but the best detail by far is on his faceplate. One side is just a regular face, but the other is one of him saying his catchphrase. There isn't nearly as much emotion in it as there is in real life. So it kind of looks like the one where he said it really quietly on the boat. But honestly, it's still the best detail in this whole video. LEGO made sure it wasn't just a reference though. It's his catchphrase, so they built it out of tiles right at the front of the set. If you love Ronaldo, this is quite literally the best $30 you could ever spend. The other two highlight sets pretty much have the same kind of Easter eggs, so instead of going over those, let's look at the Ronaldo Soccer Legend set. This is a brick-built version of the man himself hitting his famous pose after he scores a goal, and he looks incredibly good in LEGO form. Obviously, one of his main things is his physique, which he's known for, and LEGO did the funniest thing to capture it in LEGO. They have this piece that they usually use on stuff like cars, since it's so rigid and bulky, but they used it for Ronaldo's abs in this set, which is absolutely hilarious. But they took a different kind of shortcut in the Messi Legend set. Just like Ronaldo, Messi looks incredible in LEGO, but if you notice, he's wearing high socks, and Ronaldo isn't, and it isn't for no reason. Remember how Messi has tattoos all over his legs? Well, LEGO didn't want to have to make them like they did for the arm on his minifigure, so instead, they just gave him really high socks to cover them up. And honestly, I can respect it. It would cost a lot of money to remake these in LEGO. Messi also got the Messi Celebration set, and it's the most expensive one in this entire wave. It's for good reason though. Obviously, it looks really sick, but the details here are unlike anything else LEGO made for the World Cup. The craziest thing about it though is that it was designed by a brand new LEGO designer named Zio Chow. He started out as a fan designer on Instagram, and the first official set he designed was the Chrysanthemum in 2024. Since then, he's been slowly working his way up in piece count and complexity, with his most recent banger being the Nike Dunk set. But Messi Celebration is way better from a design standpoint. Making a human being out of bricks is already pretty difficult. I mean, we've seen it fail a bunch of times, and Zio had a way harder job than usual too. It's come up a lot already, but Messi's tattoos are a staple of his look. So if Zio was gonna make this set look good, he had to improvise, and he did. The tattoos are made up of hot dogs, whips, paint rollers, and some other completely random objects, but they actually work really well. And the crazy thing is, Zio somehow still had the brain power to add Easter eggs to this set. There's a little compartment you can pull out, and it's basically a shrine to Messi. This is the set with the goat piece that has his number on it, which is one of the coolest things ever. But there are also 8 golden balls for his 8 Ballon d'Ors, 3 stars for his 3 World Cups, and a bunch of other stuff, because he's just won that many trophies. The goat is also sitting on navy blue and dark red tiles, because his years with Barcelona are what truly made him the goat. But to finish the video, I actually want to talk about the US national team jersey set, because there's low-key a lot more going on here than people realize. For one, the set comes with both a male and female minifigure to represent the men's and women's team. They also have their home and away jerseys, but what's cool about this is the number on them. LEGO shows it as being 26 in the promo pics for obvious reasons, but it comes with a sticker sheet with numbers 0 through 99, so you can put whatever number you want on both jerseys. Just like the World Cup logo set, this one is also supposed to be displayed, so it comes with the same stand that can turn into a hook for the wall. Overall, LEGO went really hard for this year's World Cup, but what set do you want the most? Be sure to let me know down in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe.